Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This is your January forecast for 2025, the first month of the year. We are going to be getting into everything that's going to be happening for you, whether it's good, bad, in between, your life, love, any messages that's going to be coming through. We are going to see what Spirit has to say about the upcoming month for you. And today we have a selection of crystals for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about the karma you're carrying with you from past lives and how you've worked through that, where you are with your spiritual progress. It's a really deep reading, but there are so many different readings over on Patreon. There are love readings, career readings, spirituality readings, what you're like readings. There's just so many different topics. Like I said, over 100. So pretty much everything under the sun. And you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. You also get to vote in polls and suggest new topics. So there's just a ton to do over on Patreon. If that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, open channeling, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded in advance or a live one-on-one session, you get to customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good to you, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So that's about all I have to say, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the High Priest, aka the Hierophant, the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Wheel. So some of you guys may be getting a really intense download this month, and I do feel like you're going to be called to trust your intuition and to be kind of brave about something. This could be leaving a situation behind, or it's something that you're really considering. You may get clarity about a situation, especially something, like I said, that you've been considering leaving. But either way, you're going to get some kind of major download, major clarity about a situation. I feel like it may be a situation that you're worrying about for the longest time. And I think sometimes that can be what is frustrating about the aces. Is, to me, the aces are completely out of our control. I always mention that the aces are connected with the element of Kether in Kabbalah, meaning the element of God, meaning all the aces are a gift from God. So they're not necessarily something we can control. Like, you know how sometimes we may overthink a certain situation, or we want some clarity, or we think, well, let me just ruminate and let me research and let me look into this. And the aces are that reminder that the biggest download, the biggest moment of clarity, it always seems to come from outside of us. Like, just, wow, this is what I should do, and I know it in my heart. And I feel like there's something like that that's going to be happening for you in January so strong, and you're really going to be trusted to called to trust your intuition. The High Priest as well is a very psychic card, the male counterpart to the High Priestess. So of course, this is going to be about intuition. The Eight of Cups as well is a card that's really about harnessing that water intuition, because the Eight of Cups actually shows this figure walking away from 8 upright cups. Upright cups in tarot symbolize things that are going well for us. So the fact that this figure is leaving behind upright cups means this figure is leaving behind a situation situation that may look good on the surface. Everything may be fine, but there's something inside of him saying, you just have to go, or this is just done. And so it really is that element of intuition that really makes no sense to everyone else. It's like, what is this person doing? Are they crazy? Have they lost their mind? Look at those cups. Those cups look upright. Everything is going really well with it. But it's knowing in your heart that there's something you have to do. And again, it often can make no sense to everyone else. Everyone else might be like, what are you doing? Or this is crazy, or oh my God, you're being really stupid right now. But the cups are all about, again, that intuition, that intuitive knowing that doesn't make sense to everyone else because it's not based on logic. It's not based on facts. It's based on that deep interior knowing that comes from spirit and can only come from spirit. And again, with the Ace of Swords is like one of those bursts of knowledge. The aces are all like a download from spirit. So again, connected with Kether in Kabbalah, meaning the element of God. So when you really have that moment of deep clarity and something just dawns on you and you just know it in your heart, or you just feel it 100%, or you just have this fire for it suddenly and you're just obsessed with it and it almost feels like it comes from outside of you, you guys may be getting that download. So if there's been something you've been worrying about, something you've been stressing about, something you have been like ruminating, going back and forth about, you may get the clarity. And I feel like some of this may even correspond with some freedom with the Wheel of Fortune. So you may get some kind of idea of somewhere you should travel to, somewhere you should move to, something. I feel like this is an energy of you doing something different. Keeping in mind the Wheel of Fortune card corresponds with Sagittarius, 9th house, Jupiter energy. So that's all about expansion. That's all about pushing past our boundaries and kind of not staying in our comfort zone. And I feel like that's also an energy of the Eight of Cups, because the Eight of Cups shows, again, all the cups upright. That's a comfortable vibe. None of the cups are knocked down, so it's not like anything's wrong, but you just know there's something more for me. So you could even be broadening your horizons or even challenging yourself to kind of get out of your comfort zone in some way. Maybe it's like you're having to dive deep into your kind of reserves and be like, okay, I feel this determination, or I feel this calling, and maybe it doesn't make sense right now. Like maybe this is like you've been debating going back to law school and you're 45 and you're like, you keep thinking to yourself, it's way too late. What am I doing? But you just have this inner knowing, and suddenly in the January it just dawns on you, I gotta do it. You know what? The time is now. Or maybe you've been thinking of being like a digital nomad, which would be very Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, 9th house, Sagittarius, and you're like, you know what? It's time for me to travel. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna, break my lease to my apartment. I'm gonna pack my stuff up and put it in storage, and I'm just gonna start traveling. But there's some energy around deciding to kind of rip that band-aid off and like go for it and just make it happen. I feel like as well, this could be an energy around just deciding to like even stick out a situation, because again, this is to me the energy of really getting out of your comfort zone. And sometimes actually, especially for those with prominent Jupiter placements, so anyone who has like Jupiter in the first house, Jupiter aspecting a tight aspect to a major planet, Jupiter or a Sagittarius or Pisces, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Mercury, Mars, there can be a tendency for escapism, or for just like, okay, this is really hard, so let me ignore, let me go on to the next, let me just blot this out and kind of run away. And sometimes the hardest thing we have to do is actually to realize, you know what, let me delve deeper into this, or let me kind of like push myself past what would be a normal limit for me, and just kind of like use some determination. And just actually sometimes that can be your way of expanding, and that can be your way of growing, is like realizing, I don't have to leave right now. It's kind of like how you grow your muscles, not by chilling or resting or feeling like that first resistance burn and being like, oh, okay, I'm done, okay, whatever, it's, yeah, I'm this hurts a little bit, so I'm gonna move on. But to stay in the gym and feel the burn and keep pumping iron and keep working out, and that's how you get those really big muscles. That's how you really expand. And I feel like you guys are really delving deep, maybe making some New Year's resolutions or some kind of like rituals as we head into the new year. But I feel like this is a month for you of like really honestly, it feels like transcendence. It feels like a lot of spiritual growth, and you may be seeing breakthroughs as well, because the Wheel of Fortune is so positive. It can show that everything is working out on your side. When it comes out upright like that, it can show that you're ready for like this new challenge. You're ready for growth and expansion, and also that um and also the blessings are working out for you. Like luck is on your side. So I feel like you guys may be very aligned, especially for some expansion. Jupiter expands, sometimes for good or bad. Sometimes you can think of situations where like you don't really want to expand and it could not be great, but for the most part, it is a good thing. But yeah, so you guys could be expanding, especially I feel like in work or business, or getting a download with that, or getting a download of like a book you should write or something you should do as a hobby, or maybe even expanding your friend group. If you have been in hermit mode, staying at home a lot, you may be deciding to go out more and be out more in the world, meeting people, socializing more. I feel like there's a vibe around you of like putting yourself out there and being, like I said, so much more brave in the month of January. So let's get into some of these cards for you. Pile number one. So what is happening for pile one in the month of January 2025? I can't believe we're in 2025. So we got prosperity. Oh my gosh. Wow, beautiful. And that's such a perfect energy with the Wheel of Fortune. Justice and inspiration. I definitely feel this inspiration vibe for you. The Ace of Swords is often an inspiration that comes in mentally. So like I said, an inspiration of like, I'm going to write this book, or this is how I should approach this problem. Swords are mental energy. Swords are intellectual. Swords are knowledge. So it may come in the form of a new thing that is intellectual in nature. So an idea, or just a download of how you should handle a situation, mental processing of something, deciding this is how I should approach it. And you may just decide that, you feel so inspired, like I said, to write a book or to approach something differently with your career. There's a potential for lots of expansion and making more money in this month as well. I feel like luck is on your side. If some of you guys have been applying for jobs or wanting a job, this could be a great month to make that happen, or just to sit down and write down like a plan for something. If you've been kind of struggling, I feel like you're going to also have the motivation this month to kind of face problems that you may have put off, especially if you have like a legal issue with this Justice card. There may be something that you've been like hemming and hawing about, kind of putting off, procrastinating, like, okay, I know I have to deal with this legal issue, or I know I have to like figure out this document, but I don't know, I'm just, I'm not sure. I don't want to do it. It's so tedious, it's so boring, and it's really hard. And you just decide this month, like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do it. And you really decide to confront it. I also feel like there's a vibe around you guys finding your boundaries, or finding your voice in a way, like deciding that you're going to put your foot down, or deciding, it feels like you kind of have more bass in your voice, so to speak, like you have more authority. You decide what you want. You kind of are not afraid to ask for it this month, And I feel like that also gives you a ton of energy. That also kind of allows you to make certain things happen or to achieve certain goals. And yeah, allows you to kind of use this month as a springboard to accomplish other things as well. Let me get into these cards. So we want to know what is happening for pile number one in the month of January 2025. Okay, so we got divine presence, the force of love and creation, kinship, community, your group, and the healing heart, love, acceptance, romance. Beautiful, because I am picking up a very social vibe. I was thinking more along the lines of friends, but I guess it could definitely be relationship or love coming through as well. I feel like you guys are putting yourself out there more, especially for those of you guys who are single, or if you've wanted more friendships, if you've been feeling a little bit lonely, you may find that you're like ready to go out, or you're ready to start online dating, or you meet someone randomly in a cafe and it's just I feel like you're going to like take more opportunities, and you're really going to be guided in this. I feel like this is the thing is so many of you guys who picked this pile, you've probably been doing a lot of shadow work, a lot of intuitive work. Maybe you have been a little bit in hermit mode or kind of just working on yourself for the longest time, and maybe diving down deep into like your consciousness and seeing the things you need to fix or the things you need to work on. And I feel like that has given you a lot of healing and a lot of like clarity now on what you want. And now it's almost like you've done the work and you're ready for a little bit of a vacation. Like I feel like this is going to be an expansive year for you guys. Most of you who picked pile one, 2025, it's going to be a year of blessings and expansion. Like it may be feel like a little bit of an easier year than 2024 because I feel like 2024 or maybe even earlier it's like you've been in the trenches, you've been working hard, and I feel like this year you're kind of able to like start surveying things. It's kind of like you were renovating a house and now you get to finally move in and like make yourself at home. um, or like I said, this maybe there's a gym vibe happening for you. Maybe some of you guys are going to be improving your fitness or changing your health up because I keep getting these gym metaphors. But like someone who's been working out, building muscle, and then they finally look in the mirror and they're like, oh, I look really good. And actually, I kind of like got to my goal weight or I have the physique I wanted. So maybe I can like loosen up on my diet or maybe I can just chill now. Like I'm not trying to lose weight or build muscle or do whatever. So I don't have to be so rigorous and I can kind of take it easier. I can kind of like step back and enjoy. And I feel like there's that vibe for you. It almost comes as a bit of a shock. Like you're like, wait, I'm not used to this. I'm used to just working and being in hermit mode and like hustling and just doing all this shadow work and being in the trenches. And now it's like, oh, what is this like to just chill and relax and take it easy? But yeah, you guys could definitely be meeting new friends this month, meeting like a social group, socializing more. I feel like there is a social energy around you, and also meeting potential romantic partners, potential romantic connections, dating a little bit more, going out more. I feel like you're really putting yourself out there, and people are responding to your energy. Your energy feels lighter than it has been in a month. I also, in a while, I feel like you guys are also, for those of you guys who have been very emotional or suffering from something like anxiety, you may also have a reprieve with that or have just an easier time emotionally and not feel so taxed, not feel so upset or stressed. It just feels like there's a lot of calmness coming in. I also feel like people are just drawn to you. So this could be a great month, like I said, to socialize, to do online dating, anything that you're going to be putting yourself out there. And on the other side, also, if you're on social media, maybe to expand your presence there. Like if you've been trying to do a TikTok or an Instagram or a YouTube, this could be a really great month for you to get more attention, have all eyes on you, and just kind of get more notice, I guess, from other people and have people like paying attention to you. I also could see some of you guys taking a break from something when it comes to your career or just deciding to pull back your energy a little bit with that. I feel like there's some redirection happening. So if you have felt like you're kind of been doing the same thing, again, that Ace of Swords may come in to kind of push you in a totally different direction. And you guys are so intuitive this month. You guys are really getting deep downloads and having maybe really vivid dreams or something. Also, with the Hierophant, the High Priest, you could also be just gaining a lot more respect and authority this month. People may be noticing you, people may be taking note of you this month, and just really enjoying your presence. I feel like you have more authority. And you also could be, because the Hierophant is ruled by Venus, which of course rules kind of the senses, love, taste, touch, smell. I love Taurus energy, but so you could be like really indulging this month, or maybe even, I know this is silly, but your taste buds may be really on point. You may be cooking more, you may be having more fun with that, or paying more attention to like how your place is decorated, redecorating, or buying new stuff for your apartment or your house. You could be like deciding you want to change your wardrobe up or investing more in yourself. Taurus, I think, I mean, I have so much to say about Taurus. I love meditating on the different astrological energies, and Taurus is definitely one of the most like beautiful and indulgent, I would say it is the most in the tarot or in the astrology. So there's something about Taurus that just loves the finer things and really wants to do life right. Like, not just like, oh, I just got through life and I've just been staying in my apartment and I don't have a bed, but the mattress is on the floor, and like, yeah, the heating's too expensive, so I just shiver. I just wrap a blanket around myself, and yeah, I've just been eating like canned soup. That's like the opposite of Taurus energy. And Taurus loves to indulge and make sure that the house is beautiful, that they feel nice, that everything is comfy, that they're eating like the delicious food, that everything is like done well. It's like life done right. And that's why when you think about Taurus season, I really think it's the most beautiful time of the year. It's when like the spring blooms are blossoming and it just is like the perfect temperature and everything is just so unbelievably gorgeous. It's not like the full heat of like summer where you're like used to it and there's bugs. It's like, wow, we're in spring and everything's amazing. And that's kind of like Taurus energy, right? Like, it's like, why don't we just do it beautifully? And so you may be really considering that with your life and really like making changes to anything that isn't making you feel that way. Really taking stock of, I don't know if I like how my kitchen is laid out, or I want to redecorate this, or with my career, I want to be making more money, and like really being considerate and deliberate about that. Or I want more friends, or, I've been working. This is why I said, I feel like for some of you guys, you've been in this worker energy. You've been trucking away and just like working, like you've been like fighting the fight, doing the shadow work, which is so great. And you've been in those spiritual trenches, looking down deep into your soul and trying to fix things and trying to work it out. But now I feel like you get a little bit of a break. And I feel like that energy is going to bleed into the rest of the year as well. So this may be a month when you feel like, wow, for once I'm not struggling with like dealing with childhood trauma processing or dealing with past life trauma, or meditating on these really difficult issues. And instead I'm just thinking about like meeting my friends for drinks, or grabbing like finding the best pizza in my city, or deciding what kind of wallpaper I want for this room, or picking out a new couch because the old one wasn't comfy enough, and having a lot of fun with that. Maybe going shopping and like getting a new wardrobe. I feel like your taste, your intuition, it's going to be very on point this month. So you're going to probably notice different things that you didn't even notice before. Let's get some message cards for you, pile one. What messages do we have for the month of January 2025, Spirit? So we got cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life, okay? This one is your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative, accountability, star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation, and let's get one more. Breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Wow, that's very interesting. And I do feel like, some of you guys may be getting a burst of physical energy this month. You may be feeling more energized. And I really do feel like there is that micromanaging energy happening for you, but not in a bad way, more in a like, my life is a canvas and let me make it as beautiful as possible. Let me change or tweak anything that isn't serving me. All the things that used to bother you, where you used to kind of like not really like it, but okay, I'm not going to do anything about it. It's like you really have the will to change it. You really have this kind of decision of like, I don't want to do this anymore. And again, that's so Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups can take a situation that may look really good on the surface and be like, no, 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 it's not making me happy. And of course, Cups as well is emotions. So it's where we may not feel emotionally fulfilled. And with the Eight of Cups all upright, there may be, something that looks fine on the surface. It looks like, yeah, you should be happy. Everything is good. Like, what's the problem? And it's like, no, but it could be better. And it's not, yeah, it's not horrible, but it's not what I want. And I'm going to have the bravery to seek out something even bigger. And I'm going to have the will to like really step towards something that I want, and that's going to be so much happier for me instead of just accepting the bare minimum. And so the 8 of Cups, it's funny because in the journey of the cups, you go from the 8 of Cups to the 9 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups is actually real emotional fulfillment and kind of getting what you want. And then 10 of Cups is like the ultimate version of that. So it's funny because a lot of people might see that 8 of Cups and be like, oh God, so you're starting over, everything's going to be so hard now. But actually it's part of that journey to really being fulfilled. Sometimes you have to get rid of the old, or get rid of the things that aren't serving you, or get rid of the things that are like mediocre, like, yeah, it's fine, but it's not making me super happy. And in order to get the real happiness, let me get some astro dice for you guys and see what astrological energies are at play for pile 1 for the month of January. Beautiful. So we have, oh my God, Taurus. Yes. Okay, love that, because I have been mentioning Taurus energy. I love Taurus energy, and it's coming through really strong. Then we have the nodes. We have the 12th house, aka Pisces. So we have, we have the South node. We have Pisces. We have Taurus. So I guess since I've already been talking about Taurus, we'll start with the South Node. So the South Node talks about how you are in your past lifetimes, how things were in the past for you, and things you carry into this lifetime. Funnily enough, I just filmed a Patreon video all about that topic in case you're interested, all about karma from past lives. In case anyone cares and wants to watch that, that's over on Patreon, and the links are underneath my timestamps in the description in the comments. But anyway, so the South Node, we were delving really deep into the South Node in that reading, so that's why it's coming to my mind. It's all about like our rooted in patterns and sometimes limiting beliefs we have, or just how we think, well, it just has to be this way. And again, I feel like you guys are really redesigning that framework. It's almost like you're leaving behind those dysfunctions we carry from the South Node, the dysfunctional ways that we have of behaving, of like, well, I'm just this way, I can't help it, I'm just disorganized, or I'm just type A and I'm just like get stressed out and anxious if anything's out of place, and really unpacking that. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been doing that for a while. And we have to kind of do that unpacking in order to step into our North Node, our destiny, and what's going to really be our work for this lifetime that may feel a little uncomfortable and unfamiliar to us at first, but allows us to like reach deeper fulfillment. We also have Pisces coming in. I could totally see Pisces for you guys as well, because Pisces is similar to Taurus. It's, as they say, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which people say is the higher octave of Venus. So actually like even more Venus than Venus, or more spiritual, I guess, than Venus really is. But anyway, Pisces is also about experiencing the good things. It's super intuitive. And Pisces is not an energy that's about like, let me work really hard and stick it out and I'm just going to take it. Pisces is like, is it easy? Okay, then I'll do it. If it's not easy, then no. And that's very similar to Taurus in some ways, although Taurus is an earth sign and so a little bit of a harder worker for sure. But yeah, I feel like you guys are really choosing to let go. Pisces is also endings. It's release. It's, the 12th house of death. And it's actually where we enter in to be reborn into Aries energy. So it's letting go of the past in order to welcome in the new. And I feel like you guys are really doing that. You're letting go of things that aren't serving you this month, and you're not afraid anymore. I feel like you have this idea of what your new life could be, and things that used to scare you, or that release, those endings that used to really make you scared and nervous. You're starting to just trust that process. And that's really deep Pisces energy. Pisces is co-ruled by Jupiter as well. Again, that Wheel of Fortune card. And Jupiter is all about just trust the process. And if you trust me, I will expand. And if you go with the flow and you allow this to happen, I will give you amazing blessings. And I feel like you're starting to do that this month. And then we have Taurus. Again, Taurus is such a beautiful, refined energy, and really like experiencing things on a deep level. I always think it's funny that Taurus, like the jokes people make about Taurus are about Taurus's overeating, or just Taurus's having a huge appetite for food, which is true. But I find a lot of Tauruses too, they're just picky. Like they're not going to eat anything, but they're going to taste it more. They're not going to be just like accepting whatever kind of thing. They're going to be very considerate. They're going to taste every kind of like every flavor, and they're going to really look deep into it, and they're going to make sure that they actually enjoy it. They're not just going to lay around on some horrible air mattress or something. They're going to make sure it's like a feather bed, you know? And there's a real beauty if you can allow yourself to let that Taurus energy transform your life, and you allow yourself. And it's interesting as well, Taurus is in an earth sign, so earth is about working, and it's about embracing hard work. So Taurus doesn't mind doing the work if it's going to lead to the beauty of life. And I feel like that's what you're doing this month. You're making those changes with yourself, with maybe your appearance, with your surroundings, and with your life in general, that like anything that wasn't serving you, anything that was not making you happy, you're releasing it, you're letting it go. So that is what I have for you, pile one. Like I said, if you want to see more of my readings or my past life South Node reading, then head to my Patreon where you can watch over 100 exclusive readings. You also get early and ad-free access to my YouTube videos, so you always get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. If you're interested, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. By the way, it really helps this channel whenever you leave a thumbs up, a like, whenever you subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment. That always helps with the algorithm here on YouTube. So I always appreciate when you do that. And if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, a combination, whether you would like it to be pre-recorded or live, you get to customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile two, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. So there's two really interesting energies coming through. Both these cards are kind of about finding your power. The Eight of Swords is about how sometimes we get stuck in situations, we feel tied up, we feel lost, we feel like we don't know what to do, and we can forget our own agency. We can feel trapped or stuck when we actually have the ability to free ourselves from that. And so is the Queen of Wands. She has her power. She knows her worth. She knows her strength. So I feel like this could be a really powerful month for you guys, breaking through some bad habits, maybe deciding to change your life, maybe deciding that you don't want to stay stuck in the same patterns, or you're ready to leave something behind. If there's been anything that has been holding you back or making you miserable, or you've been overthinking it, or you've been feeling really stuck, you may find that you discover your power this month and you realize that you're not actually stuck in this situation. And it's almost like you had the keys to the lock the whole time, and you actually decide that you're ready to lose that or to use that. If there's been a situation in which you felt like you couldn't express your power, if you couldn't feel like you could express yourself, tell the truth, be honest about a situation, stand up for yourself, that may be ending. Like this could be the month when you decide you're going to apply for a new job if you haven't been happy with your old job, or you're going to speak up to your boss or to a difficult client and say what's going on. And you may also just be choosing to be way more authentic with yourself and how you show up in the world. So if you have been biting your tongue about certain situations, if you have been not quite wanting to like speak up about something, you may be like, that's done, and I just feel the need to express myself so strongly. This could even be a change in like your physical appearance. The Queen of Wands is always living her life to the fullest. She lives so in the moment. So some of you guys could also be dating more. You could be getting a lot of romantic attention. You could be getting a lot of sexual attention. People could be having crushes on you and being very attracted to you at this time. You could be emanating a very charismatic energy. So a lot of people could be noticing you, paying attention to you, and drawn to you at this time. She also has charisma, so she can kind of get away with saying certain things that maybe other people would get in trouble for. So if there's been some kind of communication you've been wanting to have, like maybe you have been considering starting a TikTok or a YouTube or an Instagram and like speaking out about something, this could be the month when you decide like, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to open this. I'm going to speak out. I'm not going to hold myself back. Or if you've been dating and like you go on those dates and they're awkward and sometimes you're like, I don't actually want to like order the wine, but he ordered a bottle for the table, so I'll just go with it. This could be the month when you stand up and you say like, actually, I really hate wine. I'm just going to get a cocktail, or I don't drink. So actually you can get one for yourself, but I don't want to split a bottle with you. You know what I mean? Like any situation which you have been biting your tongue, holding yourself back, not in your power, that is going out the window in January. The other energy that's coming through with the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, those are both such interesting energies. And even though they seem kind of opposite, in many ways, they have a lot of similarity. You know, the Eight of Pentacles shows someone really immersed in their work. This is someone who's like a master craftsman, who's just like completely focused on what he's doing. And it's almost like we haven't seen that payoff yet. We haven't seen the success of like the Ten of Pentacles yet, but we know we're on the way there. But right now we're immersed in that part of the journey where it's just working. So again, this could be a month where you're really focused on work. But we also have the Ten of Cups coming in, and the Ten of Cups is more about family, about enjoying life. So what do those two cards have in common? They both are very contented and settled with where they are. So the lesson of those cards, I think, coming out together can be that true transcendence comes from living in the moment instead of thinking about the future, focusing on the past. Again, the Eight of Pentacles is doing something that to some people, they'd be like, oh, that looks really boring. You're at work, like that just looks, you know, not like the most fun activity. That just looks boring, or it looks really hard. But if you really can immerse yourself in the moment, you can find transcendence in that way. That's why a lot of like monks, spiritual practices, like religions, they have their monks or their priests or whatever doing like daily tasks like making cheese or making sure that they're cleaning or doing like random charity work, because there's something to be said for learning to be content in the moment instead of living focused on the future, focused on the past, whatever, but actually learning to like take stock and appreciate what's going on around you in this moment. So I feel like that could be something happening for a lot of you guys in the month of January. You may be spending more time with family, you could be spending more time with friends, or just focusing on your work, but no longer living in this place of like, what could happen in the future, or maybe if this looked different, this would be better. And instead, just like kind of enjoying where you're at. I feel like this could be a peaceful month for a lot of you guys. I'm getting this vibe for a lot of you guys that this could be a month of rest, or this could be a month of just focusing and really leaning in to some work, or to like enjoying family, or not so much to focusing in like frenzied, like, when am I going to get the big payout, or when is this going to happen, or when am I going to meet this person, but kind of like learning to lean into where you are. Not to say things won't move forward in this month. I think that's the amazing thing about the Eight of Pentacles, is actually when you really immerse yourself in work and you focus on it and you stop thinking about a million other things, the future, when is lunch break, when is that going to happen? Oh my God, I'm so bored. And you just kind of like lean into it and give into that moment that you're in. That's when you can be the most productive and actually make the most forward momentum. So this could be a message for you if you have been in that place where you have been kind of feeling impatient, or wanting things to change, or not really liking where you're at, or wondering, like stressing a lot about the future. What's going to happen? Oh my gosh, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or, you know, I'm so nervous about this. This could be that energy where you stop doing that and you really learn to live in the moment and just kind of focus on where you're at and take things one step at a time and trust the process. And I always think that's the best energy for alchemy. Again, when you're stressing about the future all the time, when you're stressing about the past, or what if, or this should have happened, or did I make the right choice, or what if this outcome happens, then you're kind of sending that message of distrust to the universe, right? You're telling the universe, I don't really know if I believe what's going on, or I don't know you have my back. And of course, the universe, as we know, responds to our thoughts. So the universe is going to be like, okay, bet you think I'm out to get you. You think you can't trust me. Then let's make some situations happen that prove that. So that's when the universe may start hitting you with a lot of chaotic energy. And that's why if we can come into that place of trust, peace, understanding, and calm, then we could be amazed that even in the most turbulent or crazy situation, if we can be calm, relaxed, chill about it, patient, we can enjoy where we're at instead of fixating on the future or what needs to happen or why isn't it happening now, then we may be amazed at like, wow, the situation actually suddenly alchemizes and transforms. Once we release, that's when like the energy unblocks. It's almost, we've all had that experience where we're like frantically looking for car keys or your remote or the cell phone or whatever. And then it's like you finally say, oh, whatever, you know what? I just will stay at home. I'm not going to drive anywhere right now. And then, of course, you like plop down on the couch and you realize you just sat on your keys and they're right there and you were looking over everything and you can't believe you missed them. But that's how it works, because it's like our mind is calm and we can finally start taking stock of things. And that's when the universe unblocks that. So that could just be a message for some of you guys that this month of January is more about really enjoying where you're at. And this could actually be a really special month for you guys, especially if you are spending time with family. I feel like you could look back at this month and just really drink in like, wow, that was such an amazing time. That was such a beautiful experience. That was a highlight month for me, and so many great things happened. So you could really be enjoying your time with your loved ones, with your friends, and really even going out more or just taking more joy in life, because the Queen of Wands as well, like she's always going out, she's always making the most of things, she lives very much in the moment. So there is that heavy emphasis for you on living in the moment and really living in the now instead of living in your worries or in your head or getting too caught up in situations, but just learning to embrace where you're at. And it's so interesting, I just noticed, but you guys have a super balanced spread. You have the wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. So all the elements represented: fire, earth, air, water. So yeah, this is a really great month for alchemy. And I love when there's a huge amount of balance in the spread, because then that shows you're not too focused on one element or another, but everything is kind of cohesively flowing. So let's get into these cards for you. Pile number 2. What is happening for pile 2 in the month of January 2025, which I cannot believe we're already in 2025. So we got spirit guides, okay? Lighten your load and closure. So I really feel like with this lighten your load and closure card, some of this message is about you're not going to just let these worries like take over your mind like they may have in the past. A lot of this is you making the mental choice. Like, I think it's so interesting, of all the cards we got that show someone being trapped, a lot of those cards are in the swords. In general, the swords has a lot of suffering in it, which I always kind of feel bad for air signs, that's like their element. And there's a lot of hardship in the swords, but I think it's because, of course, air signs are mental energy, intelligence, our mind. And even though there's so much potential for alchemizing in that, there's also potential for worries. Like when we're living so much in our minds and we're in that place of worry and stress or just freaking out about something, we're really taking away our own peace. And we're almost causing our own suffering, as you see with the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. It's like this kind of ultimate result in the 10 of Swords of like what happens when we just allow our mind to run away from us. Abraham Hicks talks about how when you're, dealing with trying to think more positive, or I don't know, when you're trying to alchemize a situation and kind of manifest, you got to think of a thought is kind of like a car. Say, for example, you park a car on a really steep hill and you forgot to turn on the emergency brake, and you get out of the car and then you notice the car starts rolling down the hill and it didn't brake correctly or whatever, and now it's starting to roll down the hill. And if you get right in front of that car and block it with your knees, you can probably stop that car. And yeah, it's heavy, but you could probably put some weight into it, and if you get to it within a couple feet, you'll be able to block it, or you'll be able to run in, open the door, and stop that thing, right? But if you don't stop that car and it goes more down the hill, it goes like 100, 200, 500 feet down the hill, it is going to be picking up a lot of speed. And by the time it's gone that far, you probably can't step in front of it. It's going too fast. It would be too much of a risk. It's too heavy. It's built up this velocity and there's no way to stop it. And by the same token, when we have these negative thoughts that are just running through our mind, when we are trapped in a 8 of Swords moment where we just keep ruminating about something, where we just keep stressing about something, then actually a lot of times we're kind of creating that problem for ourselves, right? And the more we lean into that, the more we think of the negatives, the more we focus on all the things that could go wrong, then we are actually kind of like blowing up that energy. And if we could move to that place of transcendence, accepting what is, instead of fighting against it, instead of being like, why is this happening? Or, oh my God, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? But we can just come to that place of calm and living in the moment and focusing on literally everything that's happening to us. I'm a huge fan as well of Janine Roth, and she just did a meditation or a kind of like thing on her Instagram about what if you were like an alien, that like doing this ritual or this practice where you imagine that you're an alien who just came to Earth, and thinking of your reaction to all the like trees and all the sky and all the random things, the smells, the taste, whatever, the taste of food, you know, the taste of a strawberry, the taste of the sound of a certain song, like our minds would be blown. And I think it's so amazing. Like the more I learn about space, the more I think Earth is so freaking amazing. Like at this point, I think they've discovered so many different planets, and Earth is the only planet that we can live on, right? And all the other planets are like so inhospitable to life. And not only can we live on Earth, but it's like so incredibly beautiful. It's so beautiful that it blows the mind. And you see planets, all the other pictures of every other planet, and they're all kind of low-key ugly. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a really good exercise to realize just how lucky we are to be alive, you know? And I feel like that's a message for you guys coming into January. You're really being challenged to live in the moment and to kind of focus on everything that's happening, because I am feeling the message that this is a really special time of growth for you guys. And like I mentioned with the Eight of Pentacles, a lot of times it's actually living in the moment and those gradual steps that are happening, like the day-to-day work we do, the small little rituals that actually make this life. So I feel like you're learning to kind of lighten this load that you may realize I've been creating that for myself. Again, with the Eight of Swords, that's showing someone with a blindfold on feeling trapped, but as in like the Devil card, you can free yourself at any time. You don't actually have to stay in that situation. You have the agency to stop doing that. So every time we feel trapped or we feel stuck, I bet there's a million different ways you could change that situation or alchemize or free yourself, and you're not actually as trapped as you may feel. So I just feel like this is a month when you kind of learn to stop stressing and embrace where you're at. Let's get into these cards for pile number 2 for the month of January 2025. What is happening for pile 2 for the month of January 2025? So we got Archangel Phanuel, okay, hope, optimism, new beginnings. This one is Angels of the Seven Chakras, power, truth, connection. And let me get one more card, balance. Centered energy, self-care. I also feel like there's an energy, again, the Queen of Wands is kind of selfish. So some of you guys may be learning to really look after yourself, like do some self-care. Maybe that's getting a facial. Maybe that's signing up for a massage. Maybe that is deciding that you're going to redo your wardrobe, or you're going to pamper yourself or look out for yourself. I could also see this energy being that you're going to learn to stop overextending yourself for others and just to sit in a gentler, more calm energy. The Ten of Cups is kind of a relaxed energy. So you could be learning that if you have been really putting yourself through the ringer or not prioritizing yourself, or kind of, you know, just leaning into like, okay, I have to do this. I'm burnt out, but I'm stuck in this situation. Again, you're going to be freeing yourself. You're going to be realizing you don't have to do anything. And actually, you can choose to remove yourself from any situation that doesn't serve you. You can choose to step out of anything or not allow any worries to enter your mind when you start down that path. You know, you don't have to lean into that. You don't have to allow that to happen. It is a choice. And also, if there's a situation in which you truly do feel unempowered, or you truly do feel like someone doesn't respect you or listen to you or whatever, you also don't have to really engage with that. You can choose to step away from that. I want to get some message cards for you, pile number 2. So let's see what these cards say. What messages do we have for pile 2 for the month of January 2025? Whale and Orca Elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Okay. Oh, that's too many, Spirit, but we'll take the one that came out face up. Empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Okay. Oh, we just need one card at a time, Spirit. This one says, jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. And finally we have surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I love that. And to me, that's definitely the vibe of the Queen of Wands, 10 of Cups coming out together. Again, it's like living in the moment. And actually, I think sometimes when we have blessings, sometimes we can even sabotage those because we start questioning, we start wondering. I mean, I bet, like, it's funny when I look back at certain times in my life when I have a lot of nostalgia for them, or when I think, oh, that was such a great time. Like, I remember when I lived there and, I would do this and I'd go to this little local coffee shop or whatever. And when I was living that life, a lot of times I was like in a rush for something else, right? Or I was like, oh, miserable about this. It's like we can look back on college and say, oh, that was such a great time. But half the time when you're in college, you're stressing out about a test, you're stressing out about an exam, you're not living in the moment. And that really robs us from the ability to be present and to enjoy it in that moment. And again, if we can learn to get into a habit of gratitude, like daily gratitude, waking up and saying, like, I'm so grateful for this, or I'm so happy for this. Like, I think Oprah, who is the first female self-made billionaire, so obviously she knows a little bit about manifestation. She said she wakes up every morning and lists off like 10 things she's happy for. And she makes that a ritual. And even some days she said she can only come up with 5. And then maybe as simple as like the clouds outside, because she can't think of anything else. Like, it's hard to imagine, right? If I was Oprah and I had like 7 houses and was a billionaire, I think I could come up with more than 5 things. But I'm sure, you get used to your life. And even when you are that person, you get used to it and you have problems, you have worries, you have stress. And she says, even on those days when it's hard, she forces herself to come up with like 5 things because she just thinks it's so important to live in that place of gratitude, and that energy compounds upon itself. So I feel like this month, it's almost like if you have been on the sidelines, or you have been caught up in your head or stressing or worried about a certain situation, you may get closure on it, but you may also realize that some of this stress was self-induced. Some of this was you allowing your mind to spiral when you should have been in a place of real calm and relaxation and just welcoming something in. Again, like I said, when I look back at times that now seem to me like, oh, that was such a beautiful time, I know at the time I was stressed, or I was anxious, or I was like, oh, I feel stuck. This is awful. And now I can look back and be like, oh, that was amazing. But it's so hard when you're actually going through it, because a lot of us will always have a stress. We'll always have a thing we're worried about. We'll always have a negative thing playing on the corners of our mind. And that's why it's really important to make it a practice to live in the moment, to force ourselves back into that, and to not just allow that mind to run roughshod and go crazy and go off the rails, because trust me, it will. Our minds will always be playing tricks on us and convincing us that this is horrible, and and like, I'm trapped and I don't know what to do, when the reality is we always have options, we always have power, and we don't have to give in to that negative mindset. Let's get into some astro dice for you. Pile number 2 for the month of January 2025. So we have a Leo energy, and then we have Venus energy. Wow, you've gotten a lot of Venus so far. And we also have the 10th house, aka Capricorn. Wow. So let's start out with Capricorn, I guess. So Capricorn is the 10th house of our work, our career, and Capricorn is, of course, ruled by Saturn, which is a planet of hardship and suffering. But I always think that actually Saturn as a transit is so underrated because Saturn will come in and make you depressed, yes, make you upset, yes, but it will really shine a spotlight on all the things you need to change and improve. And if you're willing to embrace that energy, then there is nothing that will snap your life into better place than that Saturn energy. And I feel like there's that message for you that like there's no need to be afraid. It's so funny because so many people are like terrified of their Saturn return. They're so nervous when they find out like, oh, Saturn's going to transit over my sun or in my first house or in this, in my career house or whatever. But the reality is that like Saturn again confers huge rewards at the end. And so there is that proof that there's literally nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing that really we have to worry about because again, everything is unfolding like it's supposed to. Like for example, if you have Saturn transiting through your seventh house of relationships, if you are in an unstable relationship, yes, Saturn will probably cause a divorce. But if you have a beautiful relationship, Saturn can just strengthen it or make you decide, I'm going to speak up about this thing that's been bothering me. And by the end of it, you're together so much stronger. And so again, Saturn actually, if you get a divorce from that person that you are miserable with, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a blessing. And that's my point is so much of the time when we live in that place of worry or wondering what's going to happen or panicking about a situation, that is not actually a blessed, and that is not actually what we're supposed to be doing, because truly the true understanding of the universe is that we come to this planet to learn, we come to this planet for transformation. So anything that happens to us, bad or good, is working for our greatest and highest good. And in that sense, we don't need to worry about literally anything. The next energy you guys got is Leo energy. So Leo is that fifth house of hobbies, it's children, it's really where we find our joy, our creativity, a high level of happiness. It's relationships as well. So I feel like you guys are going to be focusing on those little things. Venus energy also talks about this. Venus is all the beautiful, good things in life, good food, good relationships, the taste, smells, sights, sounds. And really, to me, Venus, especially in Taurus, exemplifies being alive, being present, being human, being aware of the fact that we're on Earth. Again, Taurus season happens right after Aries season. And so it's like that burst of spring right after Aries. Aries season is still like we still have winter, we still have some dead branches. We're kind of tentative, like, oh, is it spring or not? Like, I don't know. Things start getting nice, but Taurus is when it's like we're in the full beauty and we can fully appreciate the absolute magnificence of like the world around us, right? Like that's when the flowers are out. That's when the air smells sweet. That's when the air is a little bit warmer. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm so lucky to be here. The kind of ugliness and doldrums of winter and depression or cloudiness of winter has gone away. And we can really be around, be alive, be outside and enjoy all of it. And I just feel like Spirit is calling on you that you can enter that energy and that mindset at any time. And this January, you may feel really, really inspired to, like I said, be very aware of your thought process, be very aware of your mind and what you're focusing on, and realizing you have the power to focus on whatever you want. So you don't have to focus on anything negative. You don't have to get into a spiral or allow your worries to win out. And instead, you can focus on all the beautiful things in life. And I feel like that's what your guides want for you at this time, pile number 2. They want you to really enjoy and just kind of take it easy this January and step away from any negativity that has been plaguing you or worrying you or freaking you out about something, and just understanding that like it is unfolding and it is going to be okay. So that is what I have for you, pile 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my readings, then head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. And you also get to watch my readings before anyone else. They always get posted over on Patreon first. By the way, if you liked this reading, then please give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. That really helps the channel. And yeah, on Patreon, like I said, you get to watch my readings first before anyone else, and you get a lot of access to exclusive readings. I just posted a reading all about your karma from past lives and how you're working through that, all your spiritual progress. So that's a really deep reading, but there is so much content over there to choose from. And you also, like I said, you get to vote and you get to suggest new topics. There's a whole lot of things to do over on Patreon. So if that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And if you want it to be pre-recorded, you can get that. If you want it to be a live one-on-one session, you can get that. If you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, open channeling, a combination. If you want it to be 30 minutes, a full hour, you get to really customize even what we talk about, what you ask about. If you want a year ahead reading, if you want to ask me about love, career, you get to really choose whatever you want to talk about. So it's the perfect reading for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the 4 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Swords. So wow, this is going to be a fun January for you guys. There's a really strong emphasis around socializing, around talking to people, maybe a party, something big to celebrate. With the 2 of Cups, this could be an amazing month for you guys to be dating, or if you're in a relationship, for really deepening this connection. And I do feel like whenever the 2 of Cups is coming up, it's encouraging us to be more authentic, to tell people how we feel or be willing to be vulnerable. The 2 of Cups are when we can really feel that emotional, deep soul connection with someone. So like I said, if you've been single for a while, this could be an amazing month to really find someone that could be special to you. This could even be like a friend, but you may feel like you've known this person for a really long time. You may feel like you can suddenly open up and tell them everything. And there is that reminder that we can always make that choice to kind of be vulnerable, to be honest, to be open to them. And that allows us to have more genuine connections when that happens. When we're brave enough to really let someone in, let someone see ourselves, that's when we can attract those kinds of genuine, deep relationships. So if you have been kind of having a little bit of fear in your energy field, maybe sometimes you feel anxious about how you're being perceived, or will this person like me, or did I say the right thing, or, you know, just kind of trying to edit yourself in any way, that can be holding you back from a beautiful, deep relationship that will really allow you to have that level of intimacy where you can truly, truly grow and truly, truly transform yourself and the other person through your connections. So never be afraid of intimacy. If that person is going to judge you or think a wrong thing about you, then that is totally on them, and it's nothing that we wouldn't even want to have that kind of relationship, because then it's not genuine anyway. So I feel like you guys are really going to be seeking out authentic relationships, and you may meet someone this month that you just feel like you really hit it off, like, oh my gosh, this person could be my best friend, or I feel like I've known them before, we just vibe so well, we just really get along. And it could be a really fun month for socializing. We do have the 4 of Wands as well. So you could be invited to a party. There could be a big milestone in your career, because we also got the 7 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles actually shows someone harvesting. So it's like you've been putting in the work throughout the 8 of Pentacles, and now with the 7 of Pentacles, that starts to pay off and you get to actually harvest the reward. So with your career this month, this could be an amazing career month, and you could get a promotion, you could get recognized, you could get a bonus or some kind of pay bump. But when the 7 of Pentacles comes in, that can show something we've been working on for a really long time and it's ready to pay off. I feel like some of this is actually connected with that 2 of Wands energy and you being more genuine and authentic. There may be things that like you're afraid to say, or you're afraid to let someone in about that. And then you find that when you do, you're like, oh my gosh, things got so much better. Like when I just was completely blunt with my boss about how I was feeling, he totally listened to me and made those adjustments. And now I can do do so much better at work because I'm not doing this task that feels completely out of my character. I'm doing something more authentic to me. Or maybe it's like sometimes you have trouble following up with clients because you just get anxiety about like, oh, this email is awkward or something. And you just learn to just do it and be authentic and just put it out there. And so you may actually find that your career benefits from you being more honest, more authentic, and just putting yourself out there entirely and not filtering anymore. I feel like this is an energy of like, this is who I am and I'm standing by it. I'm standing 10 toes down. I'm not going to filter. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to edit myself, but like, this is really me and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay if you don't like me. I'm okay if you reject me. And that energy is such a confident energy to be in that it actually magnetizes more people to you. So you may find that as soon as you implement this energy in your personal life, in your work, just across the board, you're getting more attention. You're having people like you more. They can sense this resonance in you. They can sense this like boldness and this confidence. And of course, that's always going to be really attractive. So yeah, I feel like this is a great month for you career-wise as well as relationship-wise. You may find yourself invited to different social events, social occasions. The Four of Wands is always a great vibe. It's always a lot of fun. So whenever we get the Four of Wands, we just know something fun is going to be happening. A lot of times it is a social event. It can actually indicate weddings a lot of times, but of course, maybe not everyone's going to a wedding this month or getting married this month. So it can also be fun parties, functions, and just I find whenever I get the Four of Wands for like a personality reading, it's someone who's just a blast to talk to. Like you could talk to them all night. They're exciting. They always have something to say. They're interesting to talk to. And they may have that very dynamic, bold wand energy, that fire energy that just is exciting to be around. So yeah, you could definitely meet a friend or someone that you just really connect with this month. With the Seven of Swords, there is a caution just to be careful because there could be some shady energy around you. The Seven of Swords can show someone like literally stealing and running off with swords. So it can be showing someone who's trying to deceive us or someone who's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I'm also getting a vibe for some of you guys that you're going to be doing a lot of planning with regards to your home or your living situation, maybe like redecorating, planning a move. I feel like this month for you guys as well, it's going to be a major planning month. I feel like you guys are, and this is perfect, I guess, for the new year, but you're really sitting down and taking a look at certain things. Again, to me, what's coming through, I keep getting is just this authenticity and this boldness. It's almost like you may have more physical energy this month, so you feel more ready to tackle certain tasks that you put off in the past. Like if you've been like, oh, I really need to redecorate my living room, but I just don't have the energy. I just don't feel like Googling furniture and it's just kind of a mess and I don't feel like taking care of it right now. You may just have this burst of energy like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to put this thing together. Or you may decide that like the ugly bathroom that you have that just bothers you every time you go in, it's like, this is time to renovate it. This is time to sit down and redecorate, or deciding to make a change with your living situation or where you live. But I do feel like a lot of you guys are sitting down and like doing this work that I feel like is going to set you up for a lot of success for the rest of the year. It feels like there's logistics that need to be taken care of. There's things that need to be planned out and kind of like lists made, details taken care of, things organized and planned. And I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of that this month. So it may be more of a month where you're also spending some time at home and just like planning and just really focusing on aligning everything so it's the perfect thing for you. I feel like you're also getting really clear on what you want. Again, that always has to come from a place of authenticity. I think so much of the time we feel pressure to like appease other people or go along with like what they want. So it can be very hard to be like, no, this is my decorating style. I don't really want my living room to look like yours. Or to say, thanks for the advice, but like, no, I want to do my own thing. But I feel like you guys are having the bravery and the boldness to just ask for what you want and really go after it. Let's get into some of these cards for you. Pile number 3. So what is happening for pile 3 in the month of January? So we got confidence. Oh my gosh, that's perfect because that is really the energy I'm getting for you guys. Is like, you just feel so confident. It feels like things that you really used to worry about or things that used to really get under your skin. I feel like it sometimes had to do with the perception others had of you and wanting to like make a good impression and worrying a little bit if you felt like you didn't make a good impression, worrying about what are they going to say, what are they going to think. And now I feel like you're just completely cool with, even if someone doesn't like you, that's okay, because you just want to be your most authentic self, and that it doesn't hold you back anymore in the way it used to. It used to really bother you if you felt like someone was judging you or they didn't get you. And I feel like now you're just kind of more focused on yourself, your dreams, and really advocating for yourself. And I do feel like that's the main thing that's going to lead you to the success in your career, in your relationship, just the willingness to be authentic. It feels like that's really happening for you this month. And it's almost like you're not taking it so seriously what anyone else has to say or their judgment or opinion of you. I feel like that really frees you to step into your most authentic energy and go after what you want. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 3. What's happening for pile 3 in the month of January 2025? So we got well-being and we got freedom. So, wow, some of you guys could be breaking out of some kind of restrictive situation. Like I said, if there, I feel like some of that holding you back was almost like your own mind, you know, some of it may have come from other people, but I also feel like there was a fear in you of like, I can't say that or I can't do that. This could be the month that you decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna move to the dream city I always wanted to move to, or I am going to become a digital nomad and I'm going to sell all my stuff and I'm going to live around the world, or I am going to go out for this job that honestly it's a long shot, but you know what? This is what I always wanted to do. And I feel like, again, you're not letting anyone else hold you back. Like you're really going after what you want. And you don't really care what anyone else has to say about it or their opinion or any kind of judgment coming your way. And I feel like that frees you up to really, really plan what you want. I'm hearing for those of you guys who do have a 7 of Swords relationship, maybe someone who's a little inauthentic with you, maybe someone that doesn't actually want the best for you. I also feel like that is going to be ending because you guys are going to really not be able to tolerate any inauthenticity anymore. Anyone who had it out for you, anyone who pretended to like you but actually didn't, like you're just not okay with that anymore. And things that you used to overlook or things that you used to kind of give a pass to, I feel like you're just like, absolutely not, I will not tolerate that. And I feel like that allows you to have so much more power this month. I'm also seeing the vibe of some of you guys, I know this is weird, but I'm seeing someone flipping through an old photo album. So for some of you guys, this could be like contacting an old family member you haven't talked to in a while, or really thinking of your ancestors. Maybe for some of you guys, maybe even making an ancestor altar or giving, like preparing some food and leaving a bowl of it for your ancestors. Or talking, even I could see talking to a long lost friend that you haven't seen in a while, like some kind of reunion. I feel like for some of you guys, you're also making peace with a situation that used to really bother you. There's almost this vibe around realizing people's limitations. So if in the past you used to feel really upset about how a certain person acted, you may just get some closure on that and realize like a lot of their actions had nothing to do with you, but had everything to do with this person's trauma, this person's issues, and their own like stuff that they have to work through that has nothing to do with you. And I feel like that's also very freeing. So from there, you can decide whatever you want to do with that relationship. If you want to be in touch with them and continue things and just know that they have these limitations and they'll probably never be able to step up in the way you would like, then you'll do that. Or you may just decide, I don't even want this person in my life. They don't make me happy. And I feel like you're really paying attention to that. You're also looking out for yourself. I could see some of you guys making major health changes. We got this well-being card. So you may be really paying attention to just how your body feels on a day-to-day basis. Like if you feel better eating more vegetables, if you feel better eating more fruit, you may decide like, I really want to lean into this. I really want to eat healthy. So I could see a lot of you guys picking up a new fitness routine or a new diet, or just deciding to like change your routine up. Like I'm sick and tired of sleeping in too late. I'm going to wake up at 8 a.m. every day. Or I'm going to start my day with like breakfast. I usually skip breakfast and just have a coffee. And now I'm going to like make myself some eggs and some fruit and have something really healthy to nourish my body. But I feel like you're really choosing to prioritize and look out for yourself in a way you haven't, or maybe you even felt guilty about it in the past. Now you're like, no, let me put myself in the driver's seat. Even if it's like something like going out and buying yourself a new wardrobe, getting yourself a facial, I do feel like you're investing more energy into yourself. You're almost also giving yourself that permission to rest or to relax or to just do fun hobbies. Even for some of you guys, I could see actually taking a step back from work at this time and like putting less pressure on yourself to like perform so well and just kind of being like, I'm just going to do my thing. And then I actually think in that way, you may actually get more success, more abundance as a result because you don't have that scarcity energy you're giving off of like, I have to work, but kind of like, oh, I can relax, I can enjoy, and then getting more, actually more bonuses or more promotions or whatever as a result. So let's get into these cards. What is going to be happening for pile 3 in the month of January 2025, Spirit? So we got teacher, learning a new path. This one is kinship, community, your group, and connections. Wow. Partnership, contract, commitment. And I think this is something you guys are really learning. This is a real emphasis for those of you guys who picked pile 3, that especially for those of you guys who have been in hermit mode for a long time, maybe doing a lot of shadow work. But I think sometimes we can, if we're in the spiritual space or we're working on self-growth, sometimes we can really prioritize growth on our own. And I think there's value in both. Like there's value in going in a hermit mode, but there's also value in relationships or, lover's card mode. Like there's value in both. There's value in really opening up to someone, and there's value in spending time alone and processing. And, of course, it depends on you, your north node, your south node, which you're supposed to focus on and learn in this lifetime. But Teal Swan says relationships are our greatest teacher. And I think for a lot of people, they're also the greatest trigger. Learning to balance someone else's feelings, someone else's emotions, and learning to have that bravery to also show ourselves and be as deep and genuinely honest about who we are. That can be really tricky. That can be really hard. And it can feel easier just to like do your own thing and stay in your own lane and just like focus on yourself and not really worry about anyone else. So I actually think, if you have been feeling like that, like you've been feeling like, hey, I just want to be alone, or I don't know, I want a relationship, but you're not really ready for that intimacy, you may start realizing and seeing the value in like really opening up to someone. And if you're in a relationship, you may feel like this is a really beautiful time. You guys have a lot of time to have a lot of fun together, spend a lot of time together, and you may find that things are just getting a lot deeper. And I feel like there's almost a level of trust that you're experiencing, or a level of like, wow, I can really rely on this person and let them in a really deep way that I wasn't really expecting. And like seeing the alchemy of that, seeing how that changes your life. You may be more comfortable being vulnerable. And again, this doesn't just have to be with relationships. It can be with friendships, it can be with career, but learning to sometimes like let someone else in, ask someone else for help, delegate to them, or say like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. So you may feel like you even want to reach out to someone for a problem. I could even see for some of you guys like consulting a professional, like deciding to find a therapist or finding a tarot reader or a medium that you really trust and feel like you can go to for problems, or finding like a Reiki healer or some kind of guru that you could learn from. But I feel like there's an element here of almost like asking for help or just letting walls down and not trying to be so perfect and just being like, hey, like I need an issue with this, or I need help with this, or I'm kind of vulnerable here and like, could you help me with this? And then I feel like if you do that, you're actually going to be shocked that like maybe it's not so bad. This could even be something like you have a bad credit score or you're in debt and you find a way to like ask someone about it, or you consult like a service about it, and you actually find out that like you can consolidate that debt, or you can change your credit, or this is how you go about that, or you've been wanting to buy a home but you don't know anything about it, and then you find that person who is like, oh my God, like I'm a realtor, I can help you, I'll give you all these tips, I won't charge you. And they like tell you everything you're supposed to do. And you end up being like, oh my God, that was not overwhelming at all. That was super easy. So I feel like you're ready to like take something on. There's a lot of bravery here. There's a lot of boldness. I think there's a lot of boldness in the 4 of Wands card in general. So I feel like you're really embodying that energy of like, I'm going to go for what I want, and maybe I don't have to do it all by myself. Maybe I can actually ask for help. And you may find that people that want to help you and people that want to like steer you on your path are actually very available to you at this time and really emerge and like really have your back. So let's get into some message cards for you. Pile number 3. What is happening in the month of January 2025, Spirit? Let's see. So we got star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. Okay. This one is loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. And then we have, okay. This one says, the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time, and a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. I love that it's happening energy for you guys. There may be some forward momentum on something that felt delayed. I also feel like some of you guys are loosening your grip, as this card says, and not clutching so hard to like it has to look a certain way. Feels like this is a month of kind of like acceptance and taking a back seat, and maybe, like I said, asking for help or just accepting that, you know, I think sometimes, especially like when we're in hermit mode, and I'm not saying all of you guys have been in hermit mode, but like the mentality can be just very like, it's easier to work it on your own self, on your own growth, on your own issues, on what you want. It's harder when you add anyone else into the mix, and then you have to consider their side. You have to work on negotiating things with them, or compromising, or thinking about things through their perspective. And it can mean that like once we're in hermit mode all the time, we can become very rigid. We can become very set in our ways, and actually being around that other person that can really stretch us and force us to grow. So I feel like there's a really strong relationship emphasis around a lot of you guys, maybe being encouraged to be in a relationship, or being aligned to start working on that part of yourself, or start thinking about what you want in a relationship, even if you're not ready to date yet. That may be something that's happening in your future. But either way, I do feel like there's this energy around accepting that things are imperfect, or accepting that things aren't necessarily going to be super rigid, but it doesn't mean it's a failure. It doesn't mean it's unhappy. And sometimes we just have to like be present in the now, accept things as they are, and kind of like live with that and be willing to welcome that in. I feel like for you, there's almost an energy around taking a step back, but actually finding you get more success. So maybe allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to chill, but then finding that you get exactly what you want as a result. Let's get into some astrology dice for you. Pile number 3. What astrological energy do we have? So we got Virgo, okay. And we got the moon, Cancer, and the 12th house, aka Pisces. Okay, so the 12th house and Virgo axis is highlighted here. And that's an axis that really shows, I think, an interesting like relationship with control. Pisces, that kind of loves having no control over things and just loves to go with the flow. And then Virgo, which is very controlling and likes to have every detail figured out. And I do feel like there's that energy around you guys of, again, not feeling like you have to be so rigid, or not feeling like you have to know everything or do everything perfectly, but just kind of accepting the unfolding of things and learning to go with the flow of life, learning to just kind of relax into it. I do feel like, again, there's going to be a lot of happiness. There's going to be a lot of success that comes in this month, but I also feel like it almost comes in by maybe working less, or just showing up more authentically in your connections, and just kind of like not holding back. It's interesting. We got 2 water signs, Cancer and Pisces. I feel like especially those 2 water signs, I mean, all the water signs love authenticity. Definitely Scorpio certainly does. But I feel like water, like Pisces and Cancer, are willing to be more vulnerable, I guess, willing to be like showing their flaws more. I mean, there's not a lot of ego in Pisces. And it's kind of like this ego death moment where you stop worrying so much about like, what does someone think of me, my reputation, my image, and just kind of show up as authentically as possible. I think that's why people talk about Pisces playing the victim. I think we don't actually play the victim, but everyone else like might get victimized and might try to play it off and be like, no, I'm fine. No, I don't care. But a Pisces will be like, yeah, I'm really upset. That's my opinion about things. We don't mind seeming like a victim, which is maybe why people think we enjoy it, but it's really because we don't have any ego with that. Like, we don't see it as even a bad thing. And I think that actually can be very freeing once you stop worrying about like, how am I being perceived? Or do I have control? Or do I seem powerful in this situation? We can just take a step back and admit like, I actually really kind of need help, or I can't really do this on my own. Could you take this over for me? And you may be really surprised at how much people are willing to come to your help and assistance. We do have Cancer energy highlighted here. So that is the fourth house of family and closest friends. You could be spending a lot of time with those family members and close friends, and this could be an excellent month, like I said, for meeting someone new, talking to someone new, forming relationships. But you also may find that like if you reach out to your team or your group or your tribe, that they end up coming in to help. They are happy to like with you through something or help you deal with something in a way that may surprise you. So it's almost that message that like, you're not alone in this universe. You're not handling everything by yourself. And actually, sometimes when you're willing to like pry yourself open just a little bit and let someone else in, you may be shocked at how much they have got your back and how much they are willing to work for you and do things for you and try for you. So that can be a really reassuring energy to remember that we're really not alone, and that actually the more genuine we can be, the more open and honest we can be, the more of those beautiful, authentic relationships we can attract. So yeah, I feel like that is what is happening for you in the month of January 2025, pile number 3. I really hope it resonated. And if you want to see more of my content, then be sure to check out my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about your karma and spiritual progress from past lives. Oh, and by the way, if you liked this reading, then it really helps the channel if you can leave a like, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. All those things really help the YouTube algorithm. But back to Patreon, yeah, there's just so much content to choose from, and you also get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. If you're interested in joining me over there, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, a combination of tarot, astrology, channeling, or focusing on only one modality. Whether you want it to be pre-recorded or a live one-on-one session, you get to really choose whatever reading is perfect for you and customize it so it's the exact session you want. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the 8 of Wands, the Princess of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. So I'm not going to lie, there could be some conflict heading your way this month. You may have to stand your ground or stand up for something. You may even have to stand up against someone. You may find people are really competitive with you this month, or sometimes have it out for you. You may be getting more attention this month, or having people like notice you, notice your name. And I'm hearing some of them could even come under the guise of like being a friend, but actually being really competitive with you. So it's just something to be aware of. But you may have to, like I said, stand your ground, stand up for yourself, like speak out about something, stand 10 toes down about some kind of issue. You may feel like people are trying to influence you one way, or just even want to fight you or goad you. Sometimes when you are really exuding that one's energy, you're exuding this power and this confidence that the one's cards have, that you may find it gets under people's skin, or they have something negative to say, or they're kind of not really fully cheering you on in the way maybe you deserve, and they may be kind of underhanded about going about that. So there also is that energy. The 8 of Wands can often show something coming to a quick resolution, something that may have bothered you for a while finally getting resolved, or finally paying off, or getting some kind of really fast solution to a problem, something happening that we wanted, and now it's here. Like the hard work has paid off. We're kind of reaching the end of this wand energy. The wands card, the wand suit, is not the easiest energy to deal with because it is, you know, a card of conflict, an energy of conflict. It's showing someone in battle throughout most of the wands cards. So whenever we have a lot of wands in our life, we may be called upon to like really speak up, or really, you know, have to defend ourselves, or really we may find ourselves even called into question, or people you know, trying to figure us out or trying to catch us out in a lie. And I always feel like the answer to that questioning energy, that challenging energy, is always to, like I said, stand 10 toes down and just stand in our authenticity and just kind of wait for that moment to pass. When you have a lot of want energy, the solution is not to try to appease anyone or to try to make anyone like you, but it's actually to just stand more in your own space and be like, you know what? I know what I want and I know what I'm asking for, and this is what I want, and period. And I'm not going to compromise myself. I'm not going to like try to, you know, make anyone else happy. I'm actually going to prioritize my feelings and my thoughts, my wants. You have that as well coming through with the Princess of Wands, aka the Page of Wands. You may feel like you have a lot of extra energy this month, physical energy, like it's just pouring out of you. You want to wake up earlier, you want to go to the gym. This could be an excellent month for you to make changes when it comes to your health routine. You may decide to like change and drink more smoothies, or wake up earlier, or go work out every day. But you may feel like you actually have a lot of energy. It may even be a little bit hard for you to sleep or to get rest because you're so just energetic and you don't want to like sleep. You also have the Ace of Pentacles coming in. So that could be a really beautiful new business opportunity. That could be some kind of financial opportunity that's coming in. It could be that someone wants to go into business with you, or it wants to work with you. Someone may want to ask you to like work for them, or you may just be getting noticed in that way. You may also have some kind of major endeavor that you're setting off on that could last for a long time. Like you decide that you want to go back to school and you're going to be signing up for 3 years, or you decide you want to move to a country and knowing all the immigration stuff that you're going to be dealing with, or you decide to sign a really long-term lease. But definitely it could be the start of a new project, especially combined with the Page of Wands, because wands are often beginnings, and the page especially can be a new beginning. So some of you guys may decide that you want to start a new project, or you get an idea, a message, or some kind of information that will allow you to start a new project. And it could also be a new relationship or new kind of love, because you know, the wands also indicate that kind of fun, sexual, exciting energy, a flirtation, a new relationship that may feel kind of lighthearted, not as heavy as like the cups energy. So it could be that someone is checking you out with the Page of Wands as well. You could be just exuding some kind of sexual energy. The pages are also kind of very youthful. So some of you guys may give off a vibe of kind of this youthful, playful excitement. You may have a lot of opportunities to step into that, and you may feel like people are noticing you more, or people just are talking about you, or people are like heads are turning when it comes to you in a different way this month. So it could be a really exciting month for you when it comes to your love life, or when it comes to even just socializing opportunities as well. Let's get into some of these cards for you. Pile 1 for the month of January 2025. What's going to be happening for pile 1, Spirit? Or excuse me, pile number 3. Oh my God. Okay, love. We got love and healing, and finally finding. So you may be finding something that you have wanted for a really long time, maybe a new relationship. Again, love definitely matches up with the vibe I'm getting for some of you guys. I also feel like this could be a great month if you're single, to go out, socialize, flirt with people, get to know people. I feel like you're just going to be turning heads. People are going to be paying attention to you and noticing you on a deeper level this month. People may be very drawn to you, or just find you to be a lot of fun. And like I said, you may have more energy. So if someone is wanting to do after work drinks, whereas in the past you may have like demurred and been like, oh, I'm too tired or can't go. Now you're like, you know what, let me rally and find some energy and let's go out. And, you know, I'm going to actually stay out pretty late and really enjoy myself and have fun with that. So this could be an excellent month to meet people. And there also is that message, like I said, whenever we get a bunch of wands, just to show up authentically and that we don't need to like compromise ourselves. I think Cups energy is more about compromise. Pentacles energy is about like embracing the hard work. And I feel like for you guys with that Wands energy, it's always kind of that reminder to be selfish, to be energized, to do what excites us, and not to find ourselves too compromising so that like we don't actually want to do it. You know how sometimes like you were super excited to go out to dinner with someone, but then they pick a restaurant you hate, but maybe instead of being strong enough to just tell them like, oh yeah, sorry, I don't really want to go. I hate that place. Like I always get the worst service. I just don't like their food. We just kind of suck it up and go and like sit there and are miserable. And it just almost ruins all the fun. And again, Wands energy is almost that energy of being like, no, that's actually not the place I like. And can we go here instead? And really being willing to advocate and stand up for ourselves. And almost that reminder that like, when we do that, we're also giving the other person more of a chance. We're really actually opening up and being honest with them. And they'd probably prefer us to say that, to actually tell them, like, I honestly, truly hate that restaurant, instead of just going and sitting there and being miserable and glum. So it's kind of that push or shove in that direction of like, not just biting your tongue and shutting your mouth and going with the flow, but really sticking our neck out and going after what we want and being truthful about that so that we can actually enjoy the whole process and experience. So it also can be that message that like, the more selfishly sometimes you show up, right? I think sometimes in relationships too, even when you're not single, but when you're in that relationship with someone, sometimes you can compromise too much and find yourself getting burnt out, when actually when you pour your energy back into yourself, or you stand up for the things you need, like maybe at the end of the night, your boyfriend really loves to eat like junk food and you always end up eating some with him, but you don't like how your body's feeling and it's not your fave. And finally just saying, I really hate that. I'm not really a nighttime eater. Like you can, eat your popcorn while we watch the movie, but honestly, I don't want to. And almost like those small things that you wouldn't say, or maybe your boyfriend has other food preferences than you and you always go along with what he wants. But again, it's like, you know what? I'm actually craving this. Can we eat that instead? And probably it wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, hopefully, if you're in a healthy relationship, it's not gonna be a big deal. And they're gonna be like, yeah, absolutely. And you might be relieved, like, okay, that was so easy. So sometimes, again, Wands energy is being willing to have that conflict and then it avoids other conflicts later. So I feel like for you guys, this energy coming into the month, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, whether this is about friends, is just to show up authentically, say what you want, and really ask for what you need. Let's get into some more cards. So we are going to go from this deck and see what is happening for pile number 4 in the month of January 2025. Ooh, we got the prosperity card. I love when that comes out. Abundance, success. Then we have journey guide, travel, change in location. Okay. And we got creation, soul expression, something new. Wow, this makes a lot of sense. The Eight of Wands actually can sometimes indicate air travel. So if you've been wanting to travel somewhere that you would have to fly to on a plane, you might be doing that this month, or just planning and finalizing those details. I feel like this would be a fantastic energy because there is that boldness around you. There is that energy of challenging yourself that I think the Wands love to do, keeping in mind Wands, of course, is fire energy, and Sagittarius is a fire sign and rules the 9th house of travel, long distance travel. So it shows that I feel like one of the things fire signs just love is to challenge themselves. They don't want things to be boring or to feel stagnant or to feel too predictable. So I think that's why a lot of fire signs love to do things like travel, especially Sagittarius is obviously, or love to do things to kind of push themselves out of their own comfort zone. And I feel like that energy is coming through as well. Like you may travel somewhere and you don't speak the language and you're having trouble with the translations or whatever. And for a while, it's kind of hard for you to deal with. But then I feel like you also find a way of just like, I'm going to embrace this. Like, yes, I don't speak the language. Yes, maybe I ordered the wrong food a few times, or I, didn't know where I was going, or I got lost, but I'm actually really enjoying that. So I feel like anything that kind of challenges you or it makes you nervous, this could be an excellent month for beginning that. Even if there's something that you've like wanted to do, like a project or a hobby Again, we got creation, soul expression, something new. So maybe there's a book you've been wanting to write, and this is the month you decide to finally put pen to paper and start on that. Maybe there's a new business that you've been wanting to go into, and you just decide to just pull the trigger and just do it and start it. There's a lot of chance for success this month, especially something that you initiate in the month of January. It may be something that really pays off for you long term, and you end up making a lot of money from that. You end up getting a lot of success from that in the long term. So, yeah, there's a lot of abundance, I feel like, that is kind of coming your way in this month, whether it actually happens this month or in another month. And I feel like a lot of it, again, has to do with you choosing to embrace the things that really genuinely make you excited, like listening to your intuition, listening to how your body feels, listening to what really excites you, and kind of like not wasting your time with anything that doesn't bring that out of you. Let me get into some message cards for you. Pile number 4. So we want to know, what messages do you have for pile number 4, Spirit? Okay, so we got Earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. Okay. And this one is the 7 Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression. Okay. And oh, you guys get 5. Okay, the Golden Children, Inner Child, Tenderness, Innocence, Rare Gifts. Oh, oops. This one is Lost Lands, Soul Memories and Gifts. You've done this before. And the Seas of Mintaka, Seeing Potential, Bringing Unconsciousness to Light. Okay. So yeah, there is definitely that vibe of almost like doing something you really wanted to do, maybe checking off some bucket list item, or being willing to have the bravery to go after something that you've wanted for a really long time. And this is the time when you finally are like, you know what, I am going to actually do this. I'm going to go ahead with it. I'm not going to put it off anymore. I'm going to really be bold about it. And I feel like there's so much power and potential for whatever this is. We even got bringing the unconscious to light. So I think sometimes when there's something we really want, sometimes we can even go into like denial cope mode and lie about it, or we aren't willing to admit it. Maybe that's because that thing intimidates us. Maybe it's because whatever it is just seems like so insurmountable, or there's no chance, or it just makes us feel insecure, and it brings out that side of us that's like, no, I could never do that. No, it's not possible. Not for me, whatever, maybe for someone else, but I can't. And some of life is realizing that we really are the alchemist, right? Like we can change, we can do anything we want to do when we set our mind to it. We are so incredibly capable if we're willing to fully embrace that thing and fully go after it and fully lean in. I find whenever there's something that someone is trying to manifest, but they just can't do it, a lot of times it's because they have that half in, half out energy. Maybe there's a part of them that wants it, but there's also that other side to them that's like scared. There's also that other side to them that's overthinking it, or really worried, or just doesn't want to make a fool of themselves, doesn't want to be embarrassed. And again, that is where we can end up actually blocking blessings. And I feel like there's something brand new that really wants to happen. There's something bold and exciting that you're supposed to do that may even be a destiny moment. There may be something that has been calling to you for the longest time, and you've just been really afraid to embrace it. This is about no longer worrying about what anyone else has to say, what anyone else thinks, and worrying instead about failing your own expectations and not living up to your own full potential, because that would be the true tragedy. There's going to be lots of people that don't fully get you or understand you, but you have to be the one who advocates for yourself, and you have to be the one who sees your own potential. Because if you don't do that, then no one else is going to be able to take that step for you. And again, I love this Earth card because we come to this earth for a very limited amount of time, and it really is a privilege. There's a lot of people wanting to incarnate on Earth. There's a lot of people waiting in line for their turn to come to Earth. And how lucky you are to have incarnated in your body in this place, in this timeline on Earth, when most humans on Earth have more freedom and potential to alchemize than they ever did throughout human history, when a lot of people have been historically just like peasants stuck in this same life. And now we have so much freedom to like go anywhere, do anything, change anything. Of course, we still have certain limitations, but I do feel like you guys are just being called to like really embrace this. Also, if Spirit has put something in your heart that you're supposed to do, then Spirit does take that really seriously. Spirit does want to make sure you're actually living up to what your potential is, what you said you would do on the other side, that you're not kind of shirking that responsibility or being like, oh, that's too hard, I'm not going to do it. So yeah, I feel like the message for you guys is to really embrace whatever Spirit has been putting in your heart. That's put in your heart for a reason, and you need to be bold about it. Let me get into some astrology dice for you. Pile number 4 for the month of January 2025. What astrological energies do we have? So we have double Cancer, because we got Cancer and then we got the moon. So let me actually spin this one more time and see if we get a little more balance. Okay, so we have Leo. Okay, perfect. Then we have Pisces as well. So this is interesting because pile number 3 also got Pisces and Cancer. If you guys felt drawn to pile 3, you could also listen to that reading. So let's start with Pisces. Pisces is the end of the astrological wheel. It's the 12th house of death that leads into the rebirth during Aries season. It's the house of transcendence. It's the house of spiritual gifts, and it's also a house of ego death. And I think that's such an important part of the process to alchemizing and create. Actually, I think Pisces is one of the most creative signs, and so is Leo. So you guys have a lot of creativity coming through. And the thing about Pisces is I think their lack of ego sometimes allows them to create more, or to create more genuinely, right? Because they really actually care very deeply about what they're doing. They're not just trying to get some kind of acclaim. They're not just trying to have people think like, wow, this person's so smart or so cool. A lot of times they want to create genuinely for the sake of creating, or because they believe in whatever that is, and they really feel like it needs to enter the world, enter consciousness of the public. So a lot of them end up being able to create something really, really amazing. And I do feel like, again, for you, if there has been an element of just ego holding you back, fear of what are people going to think? What are people going to say? They're going to think it's lame. This is being willing to really embrace your own gifts and your own kind of downloads that you're getting from Spirit, realizing that yes, I guess we're all going to be judged at the end of the day, but fundamentally, what other people have to say about us is so irrelevant, because most of them haven't gotten the same downloads we have. A lot of them aren't going to be able to read the tea leaves and to say what we should do in our life. They don't have access to that kind of information, right? That's why they call it a calling, because just like when you're on the phone, you're the only one who can hear the other side. So I feel like for you, this is about almost not worrying so much about what others have to say, or even just embracing the fact that they may come against you. Again, Wands energy is really embracing of conflict. Wands energy is really not afraid to have to fight, to have to go into battle. In fact, Wands energy, fire signs in general, just welcome that in as a part of life. Like, that's just how it is like you're gonna have to fight sometimes. It almost reminds me of this song by the Birds, which is like turn, turn, turn. And I love the lyrics because they say, and to everything in life, there's a season. There's a time to reap. There's a time to sow. There's a time to rip. There's a time to mend. There's a time to fight. There's a time to not fight, I guess. I can't remember the exact lyrics, but yeah, basically saying like all those things have virtue, and sometimes you have to fight and kind of like battle to get what you want. So I do feel like you guys are being called that if there's something that you're really having to stand up for, or if there have been situations situations in which you felt like you weren't able to fully authentically ask for what you want, you're really being called to be willing to speak up and to be willing to take on that battle and not to sacrifice your own feelings for what anyone else wants from you. Leo energy is such a creative powerhouse. It's the fifth house of creative projects and of performance and of expressing ourselves. So again, it's funny because Leo kind of operates on the opposite side of ego. They do have a strong ego, but they use that ego to fuel their creativity. I do feel like for you guys, this message is about, you know, when you're the first to do something, when you're the visionary, when you are the only one who's stepping out into something, yeah, there's going to be people who think it's weird. And that's why there's really no use to even kind of consider that. Honestly, I feel like people's reactions to you should be secondary. And what you guys should be focused on in this month of January is just acting from a place of your genuine feelings, your genuine desires and wants. And people can judge you all they want. It's like, it always reminds me of how Lady Gaga, when she was in high school, there was literally a Facebook group called like Lady Gaga, You Will Never Be Famous. It wasn't under the name Lady Gaga, but it was under her birth name. But still, people thought it was so cringe, that she was so embarrassing. And now, of course, she's a global, super famous household name. There's an element in Leo in creativity and standing center stage where, yeah, there's going to be haters. There's going to be people who dislike you, come against you. And in a way, that could show that you're making progress. For some of you guys, if you do feel like you're getting hate or blowback or a lot of resistance this month, you could actually take that as like a sign that you're on the right track to this certain extent. Because it's like, if you weren't a threat, if people didn't see your huge shining potential, they wouldn't be as worried about you, okay? They wouldn't have anything to say. They probably wouldn't care. So in a way, you could actually take it as confirmation. Like, the more people that are coming against you, the more people that are saying negative things about you, the more you know what, I am actually onto something. Because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't have people reacting this way, and people wouldn't really care what I was doing, you know? I also feel like, again, with Cancer rules the fourth house of home. So there could be an emphasis on changing your home or your living situation, making a move, doing something that you've always wanted, maybe fulfilling a dream, making a move, going somewhere that you've always wanted to go, traveling somewhere that you've always wanted to travel to, or decorating your place in a way or in a style that just feels more authentic to you. Like, if you've always wanted a certain decorating style, but you've been afraid of what other people would say, or you've been like, oh, but people are going to say that's tacky. Now I feel like you have the balls, I want to say, like the chutzpah, the bravery, the courage to just go for it and do it and listen to your own authentic voice. Also, with so much psychic energy, Pisces and Cancer, you guys just may feel like you're getting a lot of downloads this month. You may feel like you're getting visions, you're having really vivid dreams, and a lot of things are just coming to you and kind of coming through to you from the astral plane, I guess. You're just starting to know things and just understand things on a much deeper level. And I feel like, in a way, because you are deepening your connection to the astral plane, that's what makes you a little bit more unbothered when it comes to any of these conflicts or any difficulty or anyone who doesn't get you. It's almost like you don't care anymore because you're way more concerned about what's going on the astral plane, and you know you have so much divine support there. You can feel your team around you really strongly. So yeah, I feel like your team is super supportive of you as you go to fulfill these creative endeavors and creative projects. And it's almost like whatever you start this month, I feel like there's an energy of just huge success around it. You know, like, it is going to succeed. It is going to do well. So knowing that, you don't have to really worry about, oh my God, what if it fails? Because I just feel like you have this super benefic energy. And the more authentic you are, the more brave you are, trust me, you are going to have some huge success. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 4. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, and you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. You get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. By the way, if you liked this reading, it really helps the algorithm. If you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit the thumbs up button. That just really helps with the algorithm here on YouTube. But back to Patreon. Yeah, there's so much content to choose from. I just posted a reading all about your karma from past lifetimes and all the spiritual progress progress you've been making with that karma and just with your spiritual work in general. So where you are on your spiritual journey, that's a really deep reading, but there's so much to choose from over there. And you also get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos, and you get to vote and suggest new topics in our polls. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining me over on Patreon, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comment in the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you are looking to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be a tarot reading, an astrology session, an open channeling session, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, whether you want it to be a year ahead reading, focused on love, focused on career, you get to really choose what your reading is about, how it goes, and customize lots of details with that. So if that sounds good to you and you would like to go ahead and book a slot with me, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and book a time with me today. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.